Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you enjoy my review of Dave the Diver. I'm currently on a quest to complete my entire backlog of video games, so if that's some content you think you'd enjoy, make sure you check my Twitch channel in the description down below. I try to stream every Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so make sure you tune in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Now, let's get to my review. One of my New Year's resolutions was to complete my entire backlog of video games. I calculated it and it's roughly about 620 hours of video games, so the task seems super daunting. So I decided to start with a lighthearted adventure roguelike about fishing, restaurant management, and seeing what lies in the depths below. This is my review of Dave the Diver. Dave the Diver starts you off as a guy who is roped into helping two gentlemen in bringing their restaurant dreams into reality. Cobra is the entrepreneur and helps us by allowing us to use his boat to go out on fishing and diving adventures. Our other business partner is Bancho, the head chef and the owner of the sushi restaurant. Both characters are interesting and hilarious in their own ways and are both great characters. Bancho was a chef at a 5-star restaurant, but left due to a harsh critic that left him a terrible review without even tasting his food. These characters, along with the others you meet, such as Dr. Bacon the archaeologist, Duff the weapons specialist, and many others, make the game feel so genuine. It also helps that all the characters are hilarious in their own ways. The game never takes itself too seriously, and it references classic video game tropes several times, and it is a great time in that regard. The story itself is interesting because there are earthquakes happening and you are tasked with discovering what is causing them. You encounter sea people and a whole underwater city in your quest to discover what goes on. No real spoilers here, but I found the story interesting and it kept me coming back for more. The gameplay loop in Dave the Diver is pretty unique, even for a roguelike game. Not only are you a fisherman/diver extraordinaire, but you are also a vital component to the restaurant atmosphere and management. Bancho mainly makes the sushi and other food, and Cobra is the investor, so most of the responsibilities of running, hiring, and maintaining the restaurant fall on the player. The fishing is incredibly fun. There are a whole lot of fish to catch, and most of them are pretty easy. If your harpoon gun isn't high enough level, you will have to do a quick time event in order to catch it. Depending on the secondary skill your harpoon gun has obtained from weapon chests you open while diving, these QuickTime events all feel unique and keep the gameplay loop feeling fresher than most roguelike games I've played. Along with finding better harpoons, you can find a variety of different underwater guns, melee weapons, cooking ingredients, treasure to sell, and components to upgrade your weapons. After a while of playing, you unlock a farm in order to make more ingredients for Bancho to cook, as well as a fish farm where you can breed fish to have a renewable source of fish. The restaurant environment is very cool. You unlock new things to have in your restaurant like green tea, beer, and cocktails to sell to the customers. You must also hire additional chefs to help Bancho, as well as other waiters to assist you in caring for the customers. Each person you hire can be trained to upgrade them to get additional abilities and make them work more efficiently. There are also a ton of side missions for you as well. From night dives to helping Bancho in cooking competitions to just taking pictures of fish, there are really a lot of variety in these side missions. All in all, the game has many gameplay loops and it is one of the most memorable parts of the game. I genuinely think the blend of pixel art and 3D graphics for Dave the Diver is so unique. The underwater sections are so stunning to view at times, and I fell in love with them the moment I first dove in, no pun intended. Even when you get down to the lower depths of the ocean and unlock new areas, each feel unique in their own way, not just because of the fish and enemies you encounter, but because they all have their own distinct style, and it makes me feel like I wasn't going to the same place over and over again. I have to make sure to include that the game has cutscenes where Bancho is cooking, you upgrade a dish, and during key story moments that absolutely take the cake for me. It is so fun to watch these cutscenes, however, they do get reused over time, and I started to skip watching them near the latter part of the game. Nonetheless, they are amazing to watch, and I absolutely loved the graphics and cutscenes. As I mentioned before, you unlock different weapons and abilities as you are diving. You start with the standard harpoon gun and a small knife, but those are quickly dropped for better weapons as you dive. There are tranquilizer guns, ice guns, fire guns, and many more that make the combat have so much variety. Your health is also important because it all comes down to your oxygen level. If you swim around quickly, get hit by debris or enemies, your oxygen level goes down. If it reaches 0, you black out and are allowed to keep only one item or fish that you got during that run. You can upgrade your oxygen supply, upgrade your suit to reach further depths, upgrade a salvage drone that you can call on to pick up larger fish to the surface, as well as being able to craft and upgrade all of your combat weapons. This part of the gameplay loop has so much variety, and I enjoyed upgrading my abilities and weapons a lot. I usually find roguelikes to be cumbersome, but Dave the Diver definitely did not make me feel like that at all. The main enemy type is of course hostile fish. From sharks to jellyfish to stingrays, you never really truly feel safe in Dave the Diver. This is where your weapons come in. You use your underwater gun to shoot these enemies, but once you've upgraded your harpoon gun enough, you can start to just catch the smaller enemy fish. Sharks and bigger enemy fish, on the other hand, are a pain in the ass all the time because each fish has their own style of attack, which you have to figure out in order to dodge and catch them. It is super rewarding to obtain them though, because they give you more fish meat to use at the restaurant than your standard fish. The boss battles in this game are all pretty unique design-wise, but in my opinion, felt like they were just large spectacles, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but wasn't overall memorable for me. From giant squids to a giant crab that has a dump truck for his shell to a hypocritical douchebag in scuba gear, the enemies all looked amazing design-wise. Just not super memorable combat-wise. I loved the variety in the gameplay loops. Each fishing trip was so fun, and that's really all I wanted to do by the end of the game. I wish there was an option to hire an assistant manager who could run things on days you don't want to be at the restaurant, but I understand that would take away from one of the largest parts of the game. I love the graphics a lot as well. I never thought a pixel art game could look as amazing as Dave the Diver did. Seeing the food upgrade cutscenes with Bancho were all a hilarious time, and seeing the underwater world was such an experience that I genuinely hope we see more games take this approach to their art styles. I also really loved the characters. Each felt unique in their own ways and all had some sort of backstory that I love to learn about, some more than others for sure. Such as learning why Bancho left his 5-star restaurant, or learning about Maki and why she has this annoying ass doll with her. They all made me laugh and I loved interacting with all of them. I'm not the biggest fan of roguelikes usually, but this game really made me think differently about roguelikes. There was so much variety in things to do, and would love to see more games have a similar approach to this. Only example I can think of in other roguelikes is probably Cult of the Lamb, but I think Dave the Diver does it better in a lot of ways for me. The gameplay did start to get tedious for me near the end. The game isn't overly long, but if you struggle to get your upgrades done, it can be quite challenging to keep up. There's also just so much to do, from fishing to keeping up with both your normal farm and fish farm, to the restaurant, side missions, and the main story. It can all feel overwhelming, and it definitely did for me. Plus, as I mentioned, I'm not the biggest fan of roguelikes, and I wish I could just be overpowered and keep all my weapons and abilities, but I know that's not the gimmick here. All in all, I really loved my playthrough of Dave the Diver, and I have a lot of great things to say about it. This game was such a gem, and I am so glad that I dove into this game. Again, no pun intended. Overall, with my critiques of the game, I would give Dave the Diver a 7.5 out of 10. The graphics and characters really steal the show for me, but the roguelike elements and the not so stellar boss fights keep it from being much higher for me. This game, however, does get my recommendation of play it. What did you think of Dave the Diver? Did my review sway you into buying it, not buying it? You'll have to let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you haven't already, and you made it this far in the video, consider subscribing for more content from me. I've been Rojin, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.